What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be giving you a little snippet of what the junk wax era truly looked like. And for most people, like myself, I didn't live in the junk wax era, but a lot of people that come to the shop here at Murph's Cartown Sports Shop did, and they often reminisce of the cards. Oh, I had 10 of those. Oh, I had a bunch of those. I had that whole set. And it's cool to see that aspect of the sports card history. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to talk about one year and one specific set from the junk wax era, because I countlessly see people bringing in sports cards from that era. They want me to buy their cards off them, and you guys know I buy, sell, and trade, and I have no problem looking at anything. My motto is I'll look at anything, but I can't guarantee anything. So the best thing to do is just bring it in. In the worst case scenario, I just say no, right? Best case, I give you, some money or we make a trade. But people know that in 2022, 2021, and in 2020, how prevalent sports cards were. I mean, a lot of people got into sports cards, whether it was because of COVID, whether it's because they were collectors years ago and they got back into it. They saw the investment side of it. They're just flippers, resellers, whatever it may be. But people will know that sports cards are a huge, huge part of society right now. And they'll dig through their closet and whatever, and they'll see that they have old sports cards from the 80s, from the 90s. And they're like, oh, wow, look at that. That has to be so much money. And then they'll bring it to me and they want me to buy it. Well, that's not the case. Just because sports cards are so valuable right now doesn't mean they all are. So that's why I want to go into this article right here, and I kind of want to talk about a specific set from a specific year. Now, this article is called How Junky Was the Junk Wax Era? And this is from July 22nd, 2021. So, what was that? 8 months ago, maybe? I don't know. This is by Anson Whaley, I believe. And I'm not going to read the whole article, but I kind of just want to go over a big facet of this article. And let's just start off with, what is the junk wax era? The junk wax era, if you're unfamiliar with it, roughly started around the mid to late 1980s and lasted through the early 1990s. Collector opinions may differ the exact years, but this writer thinks it's from 86 or to 92. 86 to 92. I typically look at it as probably like around 86 to maybe like 94 through the baseball strike, and that's kind of when it died, because back then sports cards were baseball cards, right? I mean, it was football and basketball are so big and prevalent today in 2022, but back then it was all baseball. Obviously, you had your football and your basketball cards, your hockey cards as well, but it was typically baseball up until the strike. And the plentiful, you can find them at Kmart, KB, Toys R Us, yes. Overproduction. Cards were mass produced more than most people knew. Collectors were a bit in the dark because the internet wasn't really a big thing yet, and these were the days before you could just go to eBay and find practically everything you needed at your fingertips. While it may have seemed odd that there were never-ending supply of cards, few gave that much thought. Cards were hot, and it didn't matter that there were millions of them being printed. Collectors were more than willing to pay handsomely for them without any thought to rarity. The market and sports cards were just completely different back then. All right, so let's get to this. The 1992 Donruss Elite. This is baseball. No, Donruss didn't tell us how many cards they printed in 1992. In fact, like other card companies, they probably sought to keep that information private. After all, if collectors really knew how many cards were out there, it would be easy to say that they were not that rare. But the company gave us a clue with their 1992 Donruss Elite cards. The 1992 Donruss set was not a really attractive one by my account, the writer. I remember busting packs of it, grew tired, I don't really care. All right. The Elite insert cards were not all that rare, really. There were 10 regular Elite insert cards of players, each with 10,000 printed. An Elite card of Rickey Henderson was an 11th, and it came with a print of 7,500. A 12th was an autographed Cal Ripken Elite card, which was limited to only 5,000. All told, there were 500 elite cards in totality. That gives the impression that there would not be terribly hard to find. Only problem is they were. I've opened a lot of junk wax era in my day. All told, I'm probably opened about a case of the 1992 Donruss cards. Know how many I found? Not a single one. Sure, my luck may have been crummy, but the fact is that probably happened to others too. Many collectors estimate there was about one elite card per case. That was the case of the collector who pulled two in exactly 2 cases. Now do the math. 112 500 elite cards equals roughly 112,500 cases. Each case had 20 boxes with 36 packs per box, giving us a grand total of 720 packs. Each pack had 14 cards, giving us 10,080 cards per case. 112,500 cases multiplied by 10,080 cards for a grand total of 1.13 billion. 1992 Donruss cards, and that doesn't include the jumbo packs, rack packs, or factory sets. The figure, of course, is a rough estimate. There is much we don't know about the production process, but based on what we know about the elite cards, it's probably in the ballpark. And if you like some that believe the cards were even rarer than one per case, the number would be even higher. Now, that's really all I care about the article. 1.3 billion 1992 Donruss cards. That is 1 year from one set. Now, I'm not trying to sound rude or harsh when I make this video, but like I said, people will bring in cards from the junk wax era and be like, oh, I've had these cards for years, I just want to get rid of them. That's fantastic. You had them, I had them, our friend had them, their brother had them, the brother's grandmother had them, the grandmother's son had them, the son's cousin, everybody had them back then. Everybody. And that's just 1992 Donruss. Topps, Donruss, Upper Deck. I mean, there's so many different companies out there. Bowman, let's see, Score. There's just so many different companies through the years that made baseball cards. Like 1.13 billion in 1992 just for Donruss seems like a big number. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past it being actually realistic. I mean, there's still junk wax era boxes to this day that I have in my shop, and a lot of shops across the country do have sealed. You could probably go on eBay right now and find sealed junk wax boxes for $5 to $20 maybe. So I mean, cards today in 2022 are being produced at a very high level. Yes, the supply and demand is through the roof for these cards. People are way too invested into sports cards today than they were back in the junk wax era. Yes, the popularity of baseball cards and sports cards in the 80s and 90s was through the roof, but nobody had hundreds, thousands, and even millions invested into sports cards like we do see today. Me, myself, I have a shop. I'm invested a lot of money into the shop. You may have invested 100, maybe you've invested 1,000, but there's people that have invested millions of dollars into sports cards. And that's why I don't think we'll see the drop-off like we saw at the end of the junk wax era all those years ago. The market will go up and down, yes. Will it drastically drop? I don't think so. Maybe not for a long time, maybe not ever. Like I said, way too many people are invested into sports cards than compared to back then. And there's way too many inserts, parallels, refractors, RPAs, autos, patches, this and that. Way more than back then. So the cards that we're getting today are significantly better than back then. So next time you see a binder, a box, or whatever of junk wax cards, and you think that you could sell them, specifically to me at the shop, just remember this. If you had them, I've had them, and everyone else has had them. And there's probably, I don't know about 1.3 billion, but I would definitely bet a lot of money that there was millions and millions of cards and sets printed of whatever you may be looking at. So they're not, unfortunately, they're not as valuable as we may think. So I just wanted to make that quick little video to kind of educate you a little bit more on the value of junk wax era cards. Did I may sound rude in this video? Hopefully not. I didn't mean to, but I know I was very stern and I had to get my point across, which I hope I did in a very educational way. Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions about the junk wax era down in the comment section below. Definitely please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new or have not considered subscribing. I will catch you in the next video, but between now and then, you guys know that I love you and I will always see you, but hopefully I see you in the next video. And I think this video right here is going to be a fantastic video for you in your sports card journey. See ya.